Hey guys, this is Nick Love with Love Racing, doing another hot lap video. In this tutorial, we're going to begin by reviewing a full speed lap from Jacob Hiller, but if you want to skip to the turn-by-turn breakdown, click the timestamp in the description below. We're going to start here on the approach to turn 11. This is the most important turn on the track. Be very careful when you're tracking out here. If you get on the green, you'll get a 1x. Since you're not carrying a ton of speed on the front straight in the Miata, you can reduce your distance traveled by staying track left. Here approaching the Andretti hairpin, this is going to be your biggest braking zone on the track. There's some red apex markers next to the bumpers. Try to stay off of those, they'll upset the car quite a bit. Heading into turn 3, it's really easy to put that left rear tire into the sand and spin here. For turn 4, you'll have a choice whether to stay in third or go into fourth here. I think fourth may be a little bit faster, but it's a lot easier to be consistent in third, especially if you overslow. Turn 6 is one of the most difficult corners to be consistently fast in. I wouldn't recommend trying to make any passes here in this corner. Try to make this section as straight as possible to reduce any scrubbing speed. Heading into the iconic corkscrew, a lot of people make the mistake here of turning in too early because you lose sight of the track, hitting the sand and spinning. If you're behind a slower car, turns 9 and 10 are a little difficult to make a pass stick. The best thing would be to pull to the inside here and make the pass entering turn 11 in the hard braking zone. Right now we're passing start finish for our turn-by-turn breakdown. Main note here for turn 1 is track right. Get ready for that hard braking zone and make sure you're able to brake in a straight line. Your braking marker for turn 2 is going to be the white line right before the 3 marker. Go ahead and get hard on the brakes and downshift into third. The white line between braking markers 1 and 2 is a good turn-in reference. Start trail braking down to the apex. Put your left tires on that blue and white bumper, but stay off the red bumper. And then track back out to mid-track. Put your left tires just to the right of that apex marker. It's pretty bumpy, try not to hit that, and get on throttle as you're going past. Go ahead and start thinking about tracking left to make sure you can brake in a straight line for turn 3. You can start braking for turn 3 at about the 1.5 to 2 marker. You want to ease off the brakes gently here, get the car settled, and turn in right around the white part on the bumper. Put your right tires as close as you can to that apex marker. Make sure you don't hit it there. It's another rough one that's going to send your car off into the sand. Right as you get your front axle right next to that apex marker, get back on throttle. For turn 4, there's a couple different approaches you can take here. If you're staying in third, you can kind of get on the brakes just a little bit at the 2 just to load up the front tires. Or if you're in fourth, just a quick lift here before you turn in. Go ahead and start to turn in when the bumper turns white. Start getting back on throttle right before this apex marker, and I don't recommend hitting this one either. On entry to turn 5, make sure you're putting both right tires on the bumper to increase that radius. There's a really good marker on the right. It's a white line and a change in color on the concrete, so you can start braking there. Start turning in right before the bumper turns white. Give it a little bit of trail braking to help the car rotate. Since it's both slightly uphill and you have a little bit of banking, you can get on throttle right before that red apex marker. So on the entry to turn 6, you're going uphill and then it'll crest before you turn in. Because of this, you want to get on the brakes hard at around the 2 marker just to get the weight back on the front tires. Lift off and turn in right between the 1 and 2 markers. There should be a white line there. It is extremely critical here that you get back on throttle before you hit this little dip where the apex marker is. If you don't, it'll unsettle the car and you'll likely spin. Utilize all the bumper on the left on this straight. You'll want to slowly start tracking right once you pass this little white line to make sure you can brake in a straight line for the corkscrew. As you approach the corkscrew, you're going to want to start getting on the brakes pretty hard around the 3 marker. You want to try to stay track right while you're braking here and brake mostly in a straight line. Then start gradually turning in and easing off the brakes. Start turning in right around the 2 marker. As the track falls away, the car will have a tendency to push, so you really needed some aggressive trail braking here to help get the car to rotate. Look to put the left tires on the bumper to your left. The important concept here is to slowly get back on throttle as you slowly turn the steering wheel back to center. This corner has a blind exit, so you can't really see where the track is. You just try to imagine a straight line between this curb and the next one. On the exit, you only want to track out to about mid-track. That way you can start getting back over to the right and preparing for the next corner. On the entry to turn 9, the track starts to fall off. I like to turn in a little early just to get the weight on the outside tires. You don't need to brake here in the Miata. I would lift right around the start of the bumper. Make sure you keep looking forward throughout this turn. A lot of people get fixated on that apex and they end up in the sand. You can use a little bit of maintenance throttle throughout this turn to help control your radius. Just make sure you clip this red apex marker and get back on throttle right there. For turn 10, you gotta really resist the urge to brake and turn in early. Ideally, you want to start braking at the 1.5 marker, turning in and trail braking all the way to the apex. You want to plan to put the right tires just left of that red apex marker. Getting on throttle early before the apex marker on this dip really helps settle the car. Immediately on exit, start tracking right and get ready so you can brake in a straight line. Remember, turn 11 is the most important turn on this track, so really put a lot of focus here into perfecting it. Begin by getting hard on the brakes at the 2 marker. You want to start turning in and trail braking right before the white part of the bumper. Start to roll back on throttle here right at the apex. You have to be really careful on the exit to turn 11. If you put your tires in the green, you will get a 1-times. Something to note here is if you're racing and you need a little bit more exit speed and you can afford that 1-times, apex a little earlier, get on throttle early. You can use all the track, have a little bit more exit speed, and make that pass before turn 1. Alright, that's it for this tutorial of Laguna Seca in the Global MX-5 Cup car. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video and you love racing, let us know and comment below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to catch the latest, and stay tuned for the next episode of Hot Laps with Love Racing.